welcome to Radio Friends on Friday, February the 20th. We got an interesting topic for you this morning. About a month and a half, 2 months ago, we had Dr. David Newman on Radio Friends, and we basically ran out of time with our topic, which was behavioral epigenetics. And I asked him to come on back and pick up where we left off. Now, behavioral epigenetics, it has to do with our bodies reacting to how we think. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And the really cool thing about it is we are also now studying the way that your thoughts are directly affecting your DNA. So your thoughts are actually turning things on, turning things off, affecting your immune system, affecting how fast you heal. For example, oncology, when you start talking about cancer, what feeds cancer? Stress, sugar, anger, and pent-up hostility. Those will make cancer grow exceedingly fast. And that's just your thoughts. And well, why is that? Because that affects the stress hormones, and that directly affects your immune system. It shuts your immune system down. It slows it down. So these can get a good handle on it. But in my practice, what I find is people, especially here in Central Missouri, have a tendency to fall into 4 areas. Okay, and your whole audience, if you're driving, don't try to write this down. Go over to YouTube or something and catch this. But here are the four things. Okay, so just kind of draw a line. Okay, four lines, because we're going to go above and below. But the first one is when a person has no joy and no happiness, and they have no future that they can see. We call that a negative spiral. And I'm sure that you've seen people like that all the time. People refer to them as the negative Nellies and things like that. No matter what it is, they just can't see a way out. That's the negative spiral, okay? Then if you do have joy or happiness, but you see no future, we call that a reality spiral. And a lot of people, especially in Central Missouri, have that. Okay, I'm content. I'm happy with my lot in life. There's nothing else for me. There's nothing else I can do. And I'll see a lot of those people that are approaching retirement time, and they go, I don't know what to do. I've worked for 30 years for the state, and now I'm leaving. I don't know what to do. They have no dreams. They have no wishes. They have nothing. Okay? Okay. So that's the reality spiral. Then when you have no joy or happiness, but you have a future, that's the crisis moment. Okay? And you'll see people like that where they can see a future out here. They know what they want. They can see they just can't get to it. And they're not happy with their current situation, and that keeps bringing them back into that negative side of things. So here's the good thing over here. I know I can get to it, but I can't do this and this and this. And they'll start laying out all the reasons why they can't do it.
Why they can't do it.
Why they can't do it.
So they're setting a negative path.
Exactly. Exactly. And then finally, when you have joy or happiness and you have a future, we call that the flow. And when you're in the flow, you just feel really good. Things come to you fairly easy, and you're just kind of like firing on all cylinders. And we all go through these multiple times throughout our life, but some people get hung up in them. And when they get hung up, then that's when they come into my office and I fix it.
Mm-hmm. But the important thing to keep in mind here is with behavioral epigenetics is we have the ability in our mind.
Yes.
In our mind, to feel good or feel bad.
That's very true.
To feel sick and to make ourselves sick.
Very true.
I remember as a child, whenever I had a doctor's appointment and I was going in to go and get a shot.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I would make myself sick.
Yep.
I would be sick before I got to the doctor's office, and my mom and my mother and father would say, "You're doing this in your head. You're making yourself sick."
And you were.
I was, but I didn't realize that because I was so nervous and I was so convinced that shot was going to hurt.
Well, let me give you an example of a case that I had that I'm currently working with a woman who has lung cancer. Okay, now she's going to go to the doctor, and they're going to decide, are we going to remove her full lobe of one side of her lung? Or are we just going to take the part that's got the cancer? Here's the negative side of things, okay? The doctors are not trained in behavioral epigenetics, nor are the nurses. So they said, well, look, if we take out this spot, chances are pretty good the cancer's going to return. Okay, But if we take off the whole upper lobe, then we're going to take out some good tissue with that, and you'll be okay. Well, they've already set her up. If all they can do is remove just the cancer, they've set her up for that cancer returning, and she's going to worry herself to death. So when I sat down with her the very first time, I said, tell me your outcomes. In your mind, what is the very best outcome that you could have? She said, the very best outcome would be if they took the whole lobe. And I said, oh. And she goes, what's wrong? I said, for me, the very best outcome would be the cancer completely disappears and you don't have to have any operation at all.
Right. She was thinking negative.
She was thinking negative.
Started.
I was coming from a different thought. So since I've worked with her, okay, she's becoming more and more and more positive about this. So when she goes in to have the operation, which they do, I don't know. They're going to make that decision there. But no matter how it goes, it's going to turn out well for her. But it took a while to get her out of that negativity.
Which all goes to show that so many times, well, with placebos, people are getting placebos. There's absolutely no medication there, but you think you're getting medicine.
Sure.
So you start feeling better, and the symptoms go away, and the illness goes away. That goes to show that our mind is very, very powerful.
Well, yeah, that's absolutely true. And in fact, when I was in school, we studied what we refer to as white coat medicine. Okay, and why? Because doctors usually will wear the white lab coats. Interesting thing is doctors never used to wear white lab coats. They didn't wear those until the 1800s. Why? Well, in the medical profession, they had a lot of quackery. And so marketing organization in New York City did a study. And who has the most authority? Who do you think is the best? And they put people in lab coats and people that weren't. And the people with lab coats won out every single time. So they looked at the doctors and said, start wearing a white lab coat. You'll remove this stigma, and people will equate you with science. Okay. And they start doing that. So if that is the authority figure, and this goes back into hypnosis now, if you're an authority figure, you're wearing special clothes, you have special knowledge, you're in an area, exam rooms are usually small, which heightens your anxiety already, then I sit down there and say, this pill will go ahead and it'll solve your problem. Give me a call back in about 3 days, because that's how long it's going to take. You should feel wonderful.
And you will.
And you will, and it's a sugar pill.
Okay. If people want more information, David, RoseHeart Hypnotherapy Success Centers, how do they get in touch with you?
You can call my 800 number. That's 888-604-9997.
Okay.
Or go to our website, mohyp.com.
All right. Our mind is the most powerful tool that we have, isn't it?
It's absolutely awesome, and we're learning more about it every day.
Yes, we have the ability to do whatever we want.
We do.
All right.
Thank you.
Dr. David Newman, thank you so much for coming by. Monday, we've got the Boone County Hams on. They're going to sing for us. Our program director, Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute, Audio Pat Akers, KBIA, our floor director, Brendan McDermott, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mouser. Bye-bye.